Leo, let's get straight to it. There's something written with your name on it literally. Not in a horoscope. Not in a journal. But in a legal document. A will. From someone you don't even really know. And it's going to change everything. If you're watching this video, it's not by accident. I say that not to be poetic, but because I've seen it time and again when life is ready to shift, somehow the message always finds the right person at the right time. Right now, Leo, that person is you. This week, between November 6th and 12th, a window opens. A strange alignment of law and energy, of past and present. And in that space, something gets revealed. Something big. Maybe it's a letter. Maybe a message from a lawyer. An email you almost delete. But it will be official and it will carry weight. You see, the energy around Leo right now is thick with divine timing. This is not just a prediction from a deck of cards or the position of planets. It's the culmination of a cycle. A choice made by someone possibly years ago who felt the need to leave something behind. For you. You may not remember them. But they remembered you. And that, right there, is the part that touches me most deeply. Because so many Leos I've worked with carry a kind of invisible weight, the need to be strong for everyone else, to be seen, to succeed. And yet, often, they're the ones who give the most and receive the least in return. So when the universe finally says, you don't have to chase anymore here, receive this. That moment can feel confusing. Emotional. Even uncomfortable. But this week, I want you to notice what shows up. Not just in the mail or in your inbox, but in your dreams. In random conversations. In your gut. Something or someone is trying to get your attention. Now, let me be honest with you. Not everyone will be happy about you being named. If this is about inheritance, money, or property, there may be people around that feel they deserved it more. That's human. But that doesn't make their story more valid than yours. And just because you didn't expect this, doesn't mean it wasn't meant for you. That's where your power comes in, Leo. To claim it with grace. To protect it without apology. To own the blessing and the responsibility that comes with it. So stay with me. Because this video isn't just about fortune. It's about identity. Worth. And the healing that happens when life gives you what your heart long thought it could never receive. If you're feeling something stir inside you as you listen, pause for a moment, and take a breath. Then let the universe know you're ready. Leave a comment below saying, I receive what's meant for me. Say it from your heart. Not just to show support, but to activate your intention. Thank you for being here today. Your presence, your likes, your comments, they don't just support this channel. They create ripple effects. They help this message reach others who are also waiting for that one moment that changes everything. So let's keep going. Because the next part of this message, it goes deeper. And if your name truly is written in that letter, then you'll want to hear every word. Sometimes, life sends you messages in the quietest of ways, soft as a whisper, but deep enough to stir something in your soul. And sometimes, that message shows up not through a dream, or a sign in the sky, but in something as tangible as a piece of paper with your name on it, folded, official, unexpected. That's what the energy of this moment is about, Leo. It's not flashy. It's not loud. But it's real. It's grounded. And it's calling you into a truth that might surprise you. The cards that appeared for you: Wheel of Fortune, Justice, King of Cups, didn't come together by accident. I've seen many combinations in my years of reading, but this one carries a very specific vibration. One that speaks of reversals, restoration, and silent intention. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that nothing stays the same forever. When it turns, it doesn't ask permission. It simply moves. And for you, this turn of the wheel feels tied to something larger than just luck. It's about timing. A moment that's been building quietly in the background. Something you may not have even realized was coming, yet somehow has always been on its way. Then there's justice. The balancing of cosmic scales. And not the kind of justice that looks for winners or losers, but the deeper kind. The kind that says, what was overlooked will now be seen. What was pushed aside will now be honored. If you've ever felt forgotten, if you've ever wondered whether life was keeping score at all, this card says, yes, it was. Not in a punishing way, but in a quiet, sacred way. A way that brings peace to people and stories that never got their closure. Now, the King of Cups. This is the one that makes me pause. This energy doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't seek credit. It watches. It feels. It reflects. It's the energy of someone who may have seemed distant, maybe even invisible in your life, but whose heart carried more weight than you ever imagined. This isn't someone who made their love known with grand gestures. It's someone who chose you quietly, likely without your knowledge, but with a kind of emotional depth that stays long after they're gone. And that's the message I'm bringing to you now. Your name has been chosen. Not because you were the loudest. Not because you ticked some box or proved your worth in a conventional way. But because your energy or soul spoke to someone. Maybe years ago. Maybe when you were still just figuring out who you were. Maybe when you didn't even realize anyone was watching. But they were. And they remembered. This kind of moment asks for stillness. It asks for reflection. It asks that you set aside everything society told you about deserving, and instead, listen to what life is offering you now, not because you begged for it, but because you were aligned with it on a level deeper than action. This is the kind of grace that can't be earned. It can only be received. I've seen people break down in tears when they realized they were chosen. Not because they felt proud, but because they finally felt seen. And that's what this energy carries for you now. A chance to be seen. To be acknowledged. Not just for what you do, but for who you are underneath it all. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. This isn't just a moment of opportunity. It's a moment of reckoning. The kind that asks you to sit with what's coming. To make peace with it. To welcome it. Because sometimes, the most sacred blessings don't arrive with trumpets and fanfare, they come in silence, in solitude, in the still voice that says, you matter. You've always mattered. And if that feels like too much to accept right now, breathe. Stay with me. We'll walk through it together. But first, ask yourself, what would it mean to let yourself receive this without guilt? Without shrinking? Without questioning why? And when you're ready, I invite you to affirm it out loud or in the comments. I receive what's meant for me. Because the moment you say it, something starts to shift. Not outside but within. And that's where the real transformation begins. What's happening in the sky right now is no coincidence, and I don't say that to be poetic. I say it because something rare is unfolding for Leo. And if you've been feeling like something is shifting under the surface, like the air feels heavier or time feels slower, you're not wrong. This moment has been a long time coming. Astrologically speaking, it's a convergence of forces that don't just pass through your chart, they activate it. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and blessings, is forming a rare and supportive trine with Venus, the planet of value, love, and worth. But this time, they're meeting in Earth signs, steady, grounded energy that doesn't just bring dreams but anchors them in reality. For Leo, this can feel like the universe finally saying, "Here. Take this. You've waited long enough." It's not about sudden luck. It's about long-awaited alignment finally clicking into place. If you've been working hard, showing up, giving more than you receive, this is the kind of transit that rewards the soul, not just the effort. But there's more. Saturn, often misunderstood but deeply transformative ace, involved too. And here's where it gets personal. Saturn is the keeper of time and karma. It doesn't just hand you rewards. It releases them when you're ready. And this week, Saturn is casting a direct beam onto Leo energy. That might sound intimidating, but it's actually profound. This is a cosmic unlocking. A moment when the delays you thought were punishments are revealed to be divine protection. The doors that didn't open before, they were never locked. They were just waiting for this precise moment. And here's the part that many people overlook. You're not just receiving something material. You're receiving something ancestral. Think of it like harvesting seeds you never knew were planted. Maybe a grandparent's prayers. Maybe a sacrifice made by someone generations before you. Energy, once set into motion, doesn't vanish. It waits for the right vessel. And this week, Leo, you are that vessel. What's powerful here is that these transits aren't abstract. They are portals. Especially around November 8th and November 11th, both dates that carry numerological resonance. The 8 represents karmic cycles, financial empowerment, and inner strength. The 11 is a spiritual doorway, intuition amplified. And 22, the master builder number, connects the unseen with the tangible, the idea with the legacy. If you feel called to light a candle, gold or violet works beautifully. Say your name out loud. Really speak it. Then say this simple affirmation: I am ready to receive the goodness my lineage has left for me. You don't need to know the history. You don't need to understand the mechanics. You just need to show up for it. This isn't about being chosen in a way that makes you better than others. It's about finally stepping into alignment with what's always been yours, but you had to grow into it first. That's the thing about real blessings. They don't just show up. They arrive when you're capable of holding them. So take this in. Let it land. You've been doing the inner work. You've weathered uncertainty. And now, the same universe that once whispered, "Not yet," is now saying, "It's time." If any part of this message resonates, take a moment to comment below and say, "I'm ready to receive." Not just for me, but for you. Writing it affirms the shift. Declaring it anchors the energy. And that small act, It could be the moment where everything begins to change. Sometimes what changes your life doesn't arrive with noise. It doesn't come through a celebration or announcement. It comes quietly, an envelope in the mailbox, a name on a subject line, a phone number that makes you hesitate before answering. That's what this next part of your journey may look like. And the truth is, Leo, not everything life gives you will come dressed in certainty. Some blessings arrive wrapped in confusion. You might receive a message this week, a call, a letter, an email that seems odd, out of place, maybe even suspicious. Your first thought might be, "There's no way this is meant for me," or "This has to be a mistake." You may even feel a little skeptical, cautious, guarded. That's okay. That's human. We've all been taught to double-check, to protect ourselves, to not fall into anything too quickly, especially when it comes to matters involving legal language, money, or unexpected news. And yes, sometimes skepticism protects us. But sometimes it also keeps us from recognizing a door that's opening. The Four of Swords showed up in your reading, and that card is an invitation to pause. It doesn't demand immediate action. In fact, it asks for the opposite. It asks that you rest the mind, calm the heart, and look again with clarity, not fear. In my experience, moments like this don't test your intelligence. They test your alignment. Are you willing to trust your inner knowing when something unusual comes to the surface? Are you willing to say, "Maybe this really is for me," even when it doesn't make logical sense at first? Because here's what I know, both from astrology and from life: when something is truly meant for you, it doesn't need to arrive through expected channels. Jupiter doesn't ask for permission before delivering abundance. Saturn doesn't explain every lesson before giving the reward. The universe uses the language of surprise, timing, and synchronicity. What looks random is often incredibly precise. It's just not on your schedule. So if something comes this week in official envelope, a strange phone call, a message from a legal office, don't push it aside. Note the date. Write down the name. Save the message. And if something feels off, don't panic. Just seek out clarity from someone with experience. Talk to a legal advisor. Do your homework. But don't dismiss the possibility that this moment is part of a larger plan you can't yet see fully. A lot of people sabotage their blessings because they only accept what looks familiar. But if you've been doing the work emotionally, spiritually, even silently, then what's coming might not look like something you expected. That doesn't mean it's not real. It just means it's arrived through a new path. And like I said before, it's not about whether you feel worthy. It's about whether you're open. This is the moment to soften the armor. To not let fear make the decision for you. You've been through enough to know the difference between fantasy and intuition. So lean into that knowing now. Let yourself be curious. Let yourself investigate. And above all, let yourself stay open to the idea that someone, somewhere, truly chose you maybe long ago, and this message is the first knock at the door. If this resonates with you, I invite you to leave a comment below that says, "I remain open to the unexpected." Writing it, speaking it, owning it, that's how energy begins to move. That's how you prepare yourself to not just see the door, but to walk through it. Because what's on the other side, Leo, might not just be an opportunity. It might be a turning point. We often think of blessings as transactions, something we earn, something we hustle for, something that arrives because we worked hard enough or finally proved ourselves worthy. But the truth is, some of the most life-changing gifts come from places that have nothing to do with merit. They come from timing, alignment, legacy, and unseen decisions made long before we ever knew we'd be the one to receive. In your case, Leo, the energy coming through is rich not just in terms of money, but in the kind of abundance that changes the shape of your life. The cards that showed up for you: 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and Ace of Pentacles tell a deeper story than just a financial breakthrough. They speak to legacy, to roots, to healing things you didn't even know were fractured. The 10 of Pentacles isn't about quick luck. It's about stability that's built across generations. It's the wealth that stays in families, the land that gets passed down, the business that someone started with a dream and left behind for someone else to carry forward. When this card appears, it often means that you're not just receiving something, you're stepping into the next chapter of something larger than you. A continuation. A reclamation. A responsibility. Then there's the 4 of Pentacles, often misunderstood as fear or greed, but here, it's different. It's about holding something real, tangible, something that finally feels safe. If you've spent years chasing stability, whether emotional, financial, or spiritual, this card says, you're closer than you think. And not only that, you now have something you can build on. Something to hold, not just dream of. And finally, the Ace of Pentacles. This is the spark. The beginning. The door that opens not only to more money or material things, but to freedom. It may come as a property, a contract, a financial investment, or even an offer that allows you to finally walk away from something that drained you for too long. But it's more than a fresh start. It's a new way of standing in the world with both feet on solid ground. But here's what I need you to understand: this isn't just a payout. It's a deep, energetic correction. A form of repair. For the times you felt like the outsider in your own family. For the moments you gave more than you got back. For the seasons of silence, of working behind the scenes, of wondering if the universe had simply passed you by. Now it's circling back. Not as compensation, but as completion. This is your chance to receive not only what you need, but what your younger self would have never dared to expect. It's not about entitlement. It's about closure, and about the opportunity to build something beautiful with what you've been given. And yes, it may come in the form of real property, land, a home, a share in something already working. Or maybe even the chance to begin that business, that creative venture, that life you've been daydreaming about from the sidelines. This is a foundation you can build on, it just for income, but for identity, security, and legacy. So I want to invite you to write something down, not because it's trendy or magical, but because words hold power. Intentions need to be named to become form. Write, I allow myself to receive wealth, healing, and security. Say it out loud. Let it echo. Let it challenge the parts of you that still hesitate to accept without guilt. Because right now, Leo, it's your turn. Not just to dream, but to take what's already yours. When something beautiful enters your life, especially something unexpected or generous, it can stir more than just joy. It can bring out discomfort, old stories, and even conflict, sometimes not from within you, but from the people around you. And that's exactly the kind of energy the cards revealed here, the tension that often follows a blessing. The appearance of the Five of Swords and Seven of Swords is not meant to scare you. These cards don't predict betrayal as much as they reflect the presence of tension, projection, and unresolved emotions, especially when something shifts in your favor. And if you've ever experienced guilt for receiving something good while others struggle, you already know this pattern intimately. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud: not everyone will celebrate your blessings, Leo. Some will question why you. Why not them? And in those moments, it's easy to shrink, to doubt, to consider giving it up just to keep the peace. But let's be real, peace that requires you to abandon yourself isn't peace. It's silence. It's suppression. And that's not your path anymore. Astrologically, Leo energy carries both radiance and responsibility. You were never meant to dim yourself so others feel more comfortable. You were born under a sign that rules the heart, the spotlight, and the courage to lead. So when life hands you something valuable, a legacy, a gift, a role, you're not stealing it. You're stepping into it. And that difference matters. Sometimes, the person who left you something knew full well what they were doing. Maybe they observed you quietly, maybe they sensed your integrity, maybe they just knew that you'd honor what they left behind with respect. Either way, their decision wasn't random. It was intentional. And it's your responsibility now to receive it with equal clarity. From an energetic standpoint, this is a test of boundaries. A test of self-trust. Will you allow someone else's discomfort to dictate your choices? Or will you learn to hold the blessing and the backlash with equal grace? It's not easy, but it's necessary. Because every time you honor what's been given to you without apology, you strengthen your nervous system to receive more, not just material things, but emotional safety, personal expansion, deeper self-worth. In my own work over the years, I've watched people give up what was theirs just because someone else raised their voice. And later, they'd whisper in shame, "I should have held on. I knew it was mine." I don't want that to be your story. I want this moment to be the one where you take a deep breath, place a hand on your chest, and say, "I deserve this, and I'm not going to question that anymore." So if you're facing tension, judgment, or guilt right now, remember this: you don't have to argue with anyone. You don't need to explain yourself. You only need to stand quietly and firmly in what is true for you. There's no need to convince anyone. Time will reveal what's real. Your job is simply to hold your ground and receive with open hands and an anchored heart. If this part of the message touches something in you, even just a little, write it down. Speak it into form. Let it root into your space. I protect my right to receive what the universe is sending me. Because when you say that with love, not defiance, you remind yourself that you are worthy of every good thing that comes your way, and that nothing real ever requires you to abandon yourself. Leo, you've been through seasons where you've had to be the strong one, the brave one, the one who smiled through storms so no one would worry. But now, the universe is doing something different. It's reminding you that you don't always have to carry it all. Sometimes, it's your turn to receive. Not because you performed well. Not because you sacrificed the most. But simply because your energy matches what's being offered. And that's enough. You were never meant to just survive life, Leo. You were meant to lead it with light, courage, and heart. The inheritance coming your way may be written on paper, but the true gift is written in your soul's blueprint. This is your divine reminder that you are not overlooked. You are chosen. And no shadow from the past can hide that truth anymore. So as this message lands in your space, I want to gently invite you to go beyond just listening. What would it look like to actually live this insight? What changes could unfold if you believed, just for a moment, that this week is not a coincidence but a sacred appointment? I want to ask you, what if the version of you that's been waiting is finally ready to receive? Are you willing to say yes, even when your fear says maybe? Are you willing to trust what your heart already knows? If this message resonates with you, don't just keep it to yourself. Let the energy move. Speak it. Write it. Share it. This is how we shift reality from inside out. Comment below with, "I am ready to receive the good and protect my right to be happy." Let that be your signal to the universe that you are no longer hesitating. And if you felt seen in any part of this message, I invite you to subscribe and follow Eternal Mindfulness. Every week, I'm here to walk this path with you, not to predict your future, but to help you remember your power to shape it. You are not just someone passing through this life. You are a radiant soul rewriting your next chapter with every choice you make. And this week, yes, this very one, you're being handed the pen. So take it. Say yes. And let the light within you lead. Thank you for being here, for choosing to spend your precious time with this space. Every like, every comment, every moment you choose to come back here helps this community grow stronger and reminds us all that we are not walking alone. You are deeply appreciated, more than you know. Until the next message finds you, remember this: when you're ready to receive, the universe is already on its way to meet you.